Today, we're going to listen to the startup sound of the RGT desktop app. Here it is. RGT is this great service that's fun for cycling indoors. It connects to your bike and lets you cycle through one of several virtual worlds along with other people. If you've heard of Zwift, it's similar. In this video, I'm going to listen to the sound as it's used in real life, talk about what the sound is intended to accomplish, and then give it a sound score. And then I'm going to try to improve on it. Let's start with the timbre, or how the sound actually sounds. If you're listening on headphones or a decent sound system, you'll be able to hear all the detail and bass. Here it is looped 5 times. So my first subjective reaction is that it's a pretty cool audio brand. The combination of the audio and motion graphics are obviously trying to convey this is a digital service that's edgy and cool, with both the sound and graphics employing distortion. The sound is synced perfectly with the visuals, and the sound even has a bit of cadence to it, like scruncheek grwa, scruncheek grwa, scruncheek grwa. If we look at it through an analyzer, we can see it's a full spectrum sound that covers the span of human hearing. You might think a distortion noise like this would be mostly higher frequencies, and I like that they extended it down to the bass. It's a nice, rich sound. And for anyone with partial hearing loss, for example, in the upper frequencies, they're likely to still hear this sound. The goniometer shows the audio is balanced nicely across the left and right channels. And if we look at the waveforms, we see the stereo channels are similar, but have a nice bit of variation. The general recording quality is fine. There's no clipping, background noise, or any other artifacts I can hear. As an audio brand, I think it's just okay, though. On one hand, RGT is probably positioning themselves relative to Zwift, which is the 800-pound gorilla in this space. Zwift is all bright colors, curvy images and fonts, and clean timbres. RGT's white on black with distortion is a fantastic way to say, we are different. What I don't like about it is the usability, for 2 reasons. First, in the context of actually using the product, the sound can be a little disturbing. When you start up RGT, you've got your bike that's sending power and cadence data from either a trainer, the pedals, or the pedal crank arm. That data is sent to the RGT app running on the phone, and the phone talks to a computer which is connected to the internet, and the computer might be connected to a TV. So there's a bunch of places where it might fail. At the beginning of my session, I set up my laptop, I start the phone app, and I start the app on the laptop and turn to do something like start my fan, and I hear... And I'm like, what the fuck? Did some part of my system just get fried? But no, it's just the RGT startup sound. So the noise is not a good experience within the context of the activity. It makes me panic and wonder if something broke. Part of the problem is that I'm hearing it out of my little laptop speakers. So instead of sounding like the full spectrum sound it sounds like this. And that sounds much more like, shit, my laptop is hosed. The other beef I have from a usability standpoint is that I don't know why they employed a sound as part of the brown mark, other than to sound cool. The rest of the app doesn't use sound in any way. For something like a music app, a startup sound could be a useful way to judge whether your volume setting is right or not. Or maybe if this played when everything had loaded to signal you that it's ready to start the ride. But that's not the case here. Okay, time to give the RGT startup sound a sound score. There's 5 categories, and for each category, a sound can receive 0, 1, or 2 points, for a total of 10. The timbre is executed very well, and I gave it a 2. The composition fits the brand well, but creates a jarring experience. I gave it a 1. The production is excellent, it gets a 2. The usability is a missed opportunity to communicate something meaningful, it gets a 0. The usefulness is also missed entirely and gets a 0. And add that up, and the final sound score is a 5 out of a possible 10. So let's say I had to use this motion graphic and I was given a brief that said, make us sound like a cool, edgy digital company that's not Zwift. One thing I'd try is a sound that conveys motion, both because the logo type is animated and the service is all about cycling. And it has to be a techie motion sound. I'm thinking jet engines, whooshing wind sounds, and so on. Maybe it fades in and out quickly, as if a jet-like bicycle flies by you. Maybe there's a stopping sound halfway in between. Maybe it's a tiny bit of a bike tire skidding on a pavement. I don't know. If I grab a stock jet sound and massage it a bit and overlay it, we get this. That's better. But it all has to sound more tonal, so that it's clear it's a startup sound. So maybe I'd layer it with a pitch sound. And when I think pitched and edgy, I immediately think electric guitar. So let's try it with some heavy metal guitar. So I like that, but I like heavy metal, and not everyone does. So let's take that guitar down a couple notches. That's better. But I actually think some drums would make it really sound like music. Here's a beat and some funkier guitar. I think that guitar is ending on a non-root note, which creates some suspense, which I like. Like we're building suspense before using the app. So what's it like if I combine the guitar, the drums, and the jet engine? That's not bad for a few minutes of work and some stock loops. I think the trick here is to make it sound musical enough that it's recognizable as an interface sound, and edgy enough that it doesn't sound too corporate. Let's hear it again. And one more time. And here's the original again. Alright, I know which one I like better, but I'd love to know what you think, so leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.